It is Game 1 of the American League Championship Series, a rematch of the 2017 and 2019 ALCS between the Yankees and the Houston Astros. From Houston, it's Justin Verlander versus Jameson Taillon. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. I'd ask how you're doing, but I think I already know. Interesting strategy by Aaron Boone to punt Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Everything from the lineup. Why have Peraza on the roster if you're not going to start him? Donaldson's been slumping for a month. IKF's a better third baseman than Donaldson and a better hitter. So lineup construction kind of threw me a little bit. Going to Clark Schmidt today was an interesting move. Yankees had a chance to win this one. They had a chance. How's it going, everybody? Coming into tonight's game, the Astros had seemingly every advantage. They were well rested. Their number one pitcher is on the mound, a guy who's not coincidentally one of the Yankees' biggest postseason foes of all time. One of the better pitchers in postseason history, one of the better pitchers in Major League history. They had it all going for him. Meanwhile, Jameson Taillon's last start was October 4th against Texas, 15 days ago. And in his only start against the Astros this year, he gave up 6 runs. So, the Yankees didn't get in their hotel till 2 in the morning, changed time zones. But despite all of that, the Yankees had a chance to win this game. And they pissed it away. They absolutely pissed it away. Astros also had the added advantage of Aaron Boone continuing to believe, despite all of the evidence to the contrary, that Clark Schmidt is a decent pitcher and can be trusted in a big situation. It reminds me of when you try and tell somebody who's a flat earther that the earth is actually round. It's like, hey, we got video, we got pictures, we know what the earth looks like. We got all these instruments that can measure everything, and we know the earth is round. And they just don't believe the evidence. No matter how many times you see Clark Schmidt come in big spots and fold like a cheap suit, he keeps running them out there. Unbelievable. We also got Frankie Montas back tonight. Yippee. He's pitching out of the bullpen. And in baseball, the old-timers used to call the pitchers out of the bullpen firemen because they would come in and theoretically put out fires. But Frankie Montas is a goddamn arsonist. The guy sets fires or makes them worse. But all in all, this was not a game that I expected the Yankees to win. I said so much on my pregame show with Jason this morning. But tomorrow's a different story. Got Luis Severino going on full rest. He was excellent after his rough start against the Guardians. He's going to be pumped up. Yankees are going to get some rest tonight, finally. And you're done with Verlander for a few days. Do not let Luis Severino snatch home field advantage from you tomorrow, Astros. Because this thing could get very interesting back in New York. Brandon says Donaldson should be benched and Schmidt is garbage. That about sums it up. My brother sent me a text halfway through the game, and I'll pull it up. He just said, Clark Schmidt sucks. Boone is an idiot. The end. That could be the entire recap tonight. So the Yankees did put 2 runners on against Verlander in the first inning and made him throw 22 pitches, but did not score. But you figure, make him work. Maybe you can get him out of the game early, and that's what it looked like early. Houston also put 2 runners on with 1 out. But then Aaron Judge made an unbelievable diving catch in right field to take away a 2-run double from Alex Bregman. Unreal catch by Aaron Judge. He was all out on defense tonight, just sacrificing his body. He wants it bad. And I believe he's still going to have a big series despite not doing much offensively tonight. Top 2, the Yankees did strike first. Harrison Bader turned around a hanging curve for his 4th home run of the postseason. You don't want to waste a hot streak like this. 411 feet, complete no-doubter up near those stupid railroad tracks. Solo shot that made it 1-0. First time in his career that he's at 4 home runs in 6 games. Again, if I'm a little hoarse, it's because I was like, yeah! Like I went absolutely berserk when he hit that ball out of the ballpark. Astros tied it up on an opposite field double by Maldonado in the 2nd. He had 2 outs and 2 strikes. And look, credit to Maldonado. Just a nice piece of hitting. Yankees threatened again in the 3rd. Rizzo worked a walk, and then Stanton hit a laser beam off the right field wall. 112 mile per hour exit velocity. But that was rock bottom for Justin Verlander. After that, it was like a light switch. He struck out the next 2 hitters, and he just went on a rampage of strikeouts. Donaldson absolutely lost at the plate. Jameson Taillon bounced back with an easy 10-pitch inning in the 3rd. Easy 4th for Verlander, but he was at 80 pitches. Actually, 79 pitches through 4 innings. And I'm thinking, well, maybe we can have a big 5th inning. Make him throw 27, 28 pitches, get him out of there, and give yourselves an extra inning to take, swipes at that bullpen, which is a good bullpen. So, look, but I as good as the bullpen is, I think I'd rather face any bullpen than Justin Verlander when he's clicking. Squint Eastwood says, Astros may have won the game, but don't worry, guys. We won the staring contest. Appreciate it. Bottom of the 4th, Giancarlo Stanton actually made a really great catch in left field. He put his right hand up to kind of brace himself as he hit the scoreboard, and he put his hand right through the wall. Afterwards, he was shaking his hand doing one of these, and I was worried. I was like, oh, God, please don't have broken a finger. But watching the replay, it looked like his hand was like flat, so I think it was just like, I don't know if you guys ever popped the pasta jar where like, you guys are New Yorkers, you probably make your own sauce and don't ever have any of the jarred stuff. But, occasionally you open up the jarred stuff, and if you smack the bottom of it, it breaks the seal, and then you can easily open a jar and pour it out. Works on tomato paste too. Works on any kind of jar like that has one of those seals. And occasionally you'll hit it wrong and it'll just hurt your hand. I think that's what happened with Giancarlo Stanton there. Taillon gave up a 1-out double in the bottom of the 5th inning, but he did a nice job limiting the damage. 4 1/3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, no strikeouts, no swings and misses tonight. Swings and misses, but no strikeouts. But then Clark Schmidt came in with a runner on second, walked the bases loaded, and then got a lucky 4-6-3 double play to get out of the inning, just like they teach it in the minor leagues. Walked the bases loaded, give up a double play. Should have taken him out after that. I mean, it was obvious he didn't have his command, that he just kind of, blind squirrel finds a nut, broken clock right twice a day. He got lucky with the double play there. And Boone will say, well, he made a pitch and got out of it. It was a fucking P-Rod. He had a rope hit off of him right at somebody. But they left him in the game. And then obviously gives up back-to-back home runs the following inning. Verlander powered through the 6th inning. He had 103 pitches, struck out 11 hitters. He made Donaldson look especially bad. Jack Wagner says, Schmidt the bed. Oh, Schmidt was the Post headline the other day. That was a good one. Frankie Montas came in the bottom of the 7th, first time pitching since September 16th, and he immediately gave up a home run. Who's surprised about that? I'll tell you a secret. Frankie Montas is not a good pitcher. That was a bad trade. Rizzo homered in the top of the 8th to make it 4-2, his second home run of the playoffs. Stanton followed up with a base hit to bring Donaldson to the plate as a tying run. I was pretty confident he was going to strike out for the 4th time. He did work a walk, so good at bat there. But the Astros went to Ryan Presley to face Matt Carpenter. And Matt Carpenter just had no clue tonight, just struck out all night long, including in this very big spot. Castro, one bright spot, actually looked pretty good in the 8th inning for the Yankees out of the pen, but the Astros hang on to win game number 2. Antonio says Stanton producing as usual in the postseason. He has looked pretty good, but tonight's not really a night we can celebrate, how good Giancarlo looked, because the rest of the team looked pretty bad. Miguel E. Castro, no relation probably to the to the Yankees pitcher. No, the umpire was terrible tonight. He was, that's one thing that that little StatCast box, the pitch box, has taught us, is that umpires essentially miss about 7% of their calls a game. It's bad. It's really bad. They miss a lot of borderline calls in a lot of big spots. They also miss calls on the bases all the time. And how many times do we see plays overturned? Umpires in general, the human element is fallible. We're human. That's what it means. I say you go to robotic umpires for the strike zone, at least in the playoffs. You can't have the integrity of the game sacrificed because you want to keep the human element in. That doesn't make any sense to me. Kobe Jeet says Montas isn't going to be any better next season with the pitch clock. That's a good point. But look, it is one game. GG in chat says it is one game, and that is absolutely correct. If you're going to lose a game, you want to lose game 1 because then you have the most opportunities to win 4. You still got 6 chances, and you still got 3 games in New York. All you got to do in this initial 2-game set is win 1 game. And the Yankees have another chance to do that tomorrow behind Luis Severino, who's going to be pumped up and going to be dealing. And he was on that 2017 team, so he is not going to be messing around. But, I feel good about Luis Severino tomorrow. Now, you go down 2-0, you start feeling differently. But if you win tomorrow, I'm optimistic headed back into New York. Optimistic. Because then you got 3 games in New York, and you got Cole and Nestor pitching 2 of them. And they've both been money in the postseason. And you got the short porch. That ball that Stanton hit off the wall tonight, probably a home run. I didn't check the actual would it dong tweet or whatever, but I'm pretty sure that ball that hit the wall would have been a home run at Yankee Stadium. James G says, criminal that Bader isn't batting 5th. And Squint says, why continue to put Torres in the leadoff spot? What about his stat line screams leadoff man? He does work the count a little bit, and I think that they recognize that he hits fastballs very well, and they figure he's going to see some fastballs hitting in front of Judge. So, Judge hitting makes everybody around him better. What we really need is Judge to get hot. He had a couple of good swings in the final game against Cleveland, hit a home run, had another base hit up the middle. I think we need Judge tomorrow. But this was a tough game. It was a very winnable game. I agree with Anthony Segarra. Yankees could have won this game. They really could have. And J2 says, Sevy will pitch well, but can we hit? You got to hit. If you don't hit, then there's no point in even having the discussion. Every game you got to compete on both sides of the baseball. I know I'm stating the obvious here. Let's talk about the box score. So Verlander picks up the W. Schmidt posting a 0-2 record with 11.57 ERA in the postseason. That's not going to help his clutch rating in next year's MLB The Show video game, I'll tell you that. Astros take a 1-0 series in the lead, or 1-0 lead in the series, and out-hit the Yankees 7-5. Torres goes 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Judge 0 for 4. Top 2 guys hitting under 200. Combined, they're not even hitting 300. Combined, they're hitting 297. Rizzo, that's not how averages work, but I'm saying if you add their averages together. Rizzo, 1 for 2 with a home run. Stanton, 2 for 4. He's swinging the bat well. Looks like the hand is okay. He did pick up a base hit later on after hitting his hand. Donaldson, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Just looked atrocious tonight. Peraza came in the game to pinch run, ended up playing shortstop, almost threw one away, but I think that now that he got that first play out of the system, I think he'll do better. I would put him in there at shortstop and put Kiner Falefa at third base. Oswaldo Cabrera in left field, Stanton at DH. Use Carpenter off the bench in big spots, and that's how I would just try and get through the series and just hope for the best. That's the way I would do it. Bader with the home run, his 4th of the postseason, as we mentioned. Trevino really struggling in the postseason, 0 for 4 with a couple of strikeouts. We might see Kyle Higashioka tomorrow. He caught Luis Severino the last 2 times, and with Trevino not hitting, Kiner Falefa might, run into one. Yankees did have to use 5 pitchers today. Taillon pitched the best. Castro wasn't bad. Trevino got a couple of guys out. But Schmidt was awful, and Montas serving up the long ball. What else is new? Landon Thompson says, learn to hit a curveball, please.
Well, you may run like Mays, but you hit like shit.
And Edwin NG says, runners in scoring position killed us again. I mean, it's been the story in the playoffs for the Yankees for, a couple of decades now. It feels like we have this same talk every playoffs. The Yankees get guys on base. They get guys in scoring position, but when you're not hitting home runs, right? When you're not hitting home runs, you typically don't score in the postseason. That may change next year as the shift goes away, but I can't think of anything today that the shift really took away from the Yankees. It was the strikeouts. But again, look, I want to emphasize this. Justin Verlander is one of the best pitchers of all time. He's got an MVP. He's going to win his 3rd Cy Young Award this year, in all likelihood. He's one of the best pitchers of all time. He's not fazed by the moment. He's got a World Series title. He's, pitched in the postseason a bunch of times. He's pitched against the Yankees in the postseason a bunch of times. He's comfortable. And once he found his groove, the Yankees really had no chance. So, all you can really do is try and, do what they did with Pedro, which is match him 0 for 0 and get him out of the game and then hope to score against the bullpen. That's how you have to treat somebody like Verlander. Unfortunately for the Yankees, Clark Schmidt pissed it away tonight, and that's just how it goes. Can't use him in big spots. And that's why I opened up by saying it was weird that we punted in the first game of the ALCS. Real Tough says, lefty tomorrow, but a good one. We do good against lefties. I think the Yankees can be good against lefties if they're not trying to pull everything. Left-handed pitchers don't generally like to pitch the Yankees hitters inside, right? I mean, these are big guys. It gives you a longer look at the baseball because it's got to travel farther, right? It's got to travel across the whole strike zone. I think you're going to see the lefties working breaking balls away in the dirt, trying to get the Yankees off balance, trying to get ground balls, trying to get pop-ups. We need to run into some. We need to make them, throw pitches, and we need to run into one. And we need that game tomorrow. I agree with Mike D. His name was Mike D. Mike D. Sharon Watson says, why was Carp in the lineup? Well, I mean, you're trying to... Here's the way I look at it. And this is something I tweeted before the game. I would have put Carpenter in the lineup. And the reason is because Oswaldo Cabrera does not hit high fastballs. Okay? He does not hit high fastballs. And the way Verlander pitches, he likes to elevate that fastball to lefties. A lot of lefties are low and in hitters. They can't handle the high fastball. But he's able to pepper the top part of the zone with fastballs and get strikes. And if you go above the zone, Oswaldo Cabrera has no chance. So they went with Carpenter thinking, one, he's going to have better control of the strike zone. He's not going to swing Chase out of the zone. And two, you figure if he tries to drop in that breaking ball down and in, he's a little bit more experienced hitter than Cabrera. You trust him a little bit more to run into one. He had 15 home runs this year. So that's what you're trying to do. You know that against Verlander, one pitch, one swing can make or break the game. And so that's what they were going for. Miguel Peralta says, trade Montas to Houston. I don't think they would want him, but that was a fantastic comment.
Excellent.
I gotta say. Steve-O doesn't want IKF at third base. I mean, he won a Gold Glove at third. I think he's a much better third baseman than a shortstop, particularly. Xavier Ramos says, why is Schmidt used before Herman? Your question has no answer because it doesn't make any sense. Herman's a better pitcher. He's got better swing and miss stuff. They must love his metrics, Clark Schmidt. I mean, he gets a high spin rate on that curveball, but I look at his numbers and I think about his season, and it just seems empty. Just seems like empty numbers. Like, I feel like he's come in a lot of mop-up situations. I know he had a couple of good outings earlier in the year against the Blue Jays, but then he got sent back down to the minor leagues, and after he came back up, he really didn't do much. I mean, I feel like he pitched in situations where it really was not, do or die. Eric Lavoie says, Carpenter, Pedro Serrano.
I cannot hit curveball.
Yeah, Serrano, character from the Major League movies, couldn't hit the breaking ball, but annihilated the fastball. Would have been nice if we got some fastballs tonight. All right, guys, that's a tough one. I will see you for game 2. Hopefully Luis Severino brings the good stuff tomorrow. I bid you adieu. Good night.